So here we have brother Darius Jackson with a lot of tweets talking about the hardships of fighting to see his kid. Yeah. So right here, we're going to read these tweets out here. Let me see how many they were, how many tweets he had. Okay, so he had a lot of tweets. It looks like 5 separate tweets. Okay, so he says here, one of the tweets, it says, when I tell you that they make men go through hoops when it comes to seeing their own kids, then they have the audacity to throw the fatherless home statistic at your face, let alone make you feel honored to get any type of time with your own child. This is true. This is very true. Here we have 2 more tweets. He says, I feel for the dads that gave up when it came to custody. It's mentally, emotionally, and physically draining. You'll lose yourself. My spirit is too strong to give up, but I totally understand. I have pondered it. Thank God I have an amazing circle. Here we have another tweet. He says, too many Ahabs have given these Jezebels a voice and platform to call the shots. A lot of weak men. I was once a weak man. You spend your life being miserable as a weak man looking for approval that you'll never get. So I know what happened. I think during the marriage, he found like some guy on the internet. He probably has been listening to somebody from the RP space either right now or towards the end of their relationship. If I'm not mistaken, were they married or divorced? I already let me look up something real quick. Let me look up something real quick because I already covered this, but I'd be forgetting. Let me search for something. Yeah, they weren't married. They weren't married, and they had a kid out of wedlock. All right, but that's a Bible reference when he's talking about Ahabs and Jezebels. This is a reference to King Ahab and Jezebel, the evil queen. And he says, not looking for sympathy either. There's another tweet. Trust me, I've seen enough of society to not want anyone else's approval. I actually got to learn to love y'all. He says here, and for those that expect me to ever speak on anything that's for my family's private matter, yes, it's still my family. I share a soul with this person. You can do your own research and make your own judgment. For those who don't have kids, and this is something that I will emphasize to my son, wait till marriage and make sure God is the center of your relationship. There's a rule book that's been given to us thousands of years ago. Best to follow it because everything else leads to chaos. I agree. You know, I used to be very, I'll open up to you guys a little bit real quick. I used to be very anti-religion, but as I analyze people, particularly women, how they act without them being held accountable, how men act without them being held accountable, you know what I mean, and seeing how things are going and looking at things in the past, how things went in the past, I understand why they had to make sure religion was the center of people's life, or something where people had to believe in something, because without that specific moral past, people just seem to do interesting stuff or interesting things with their lives, you know what I mean, without the regards for others. So now let's look at these tweets one more time, right? When he talks about they have the audacity to throw the fatherless home statistic at your face. This is what I said. You know what I mean? It's interesting because when we talk about fatherless homes, I always said this: there's no such thing as a deadbeat dad. There's none. Because at the end of the day, women have especially in 2024, women have the ultimate autonomy on their body. They can withdraw consent. They can get retroactive consent, take back consent, give it back. All this nonsense. They can kill their kids at will. They call it abortion, but you know they're murdering their kids. If you don't agree with me, look at Cynthia G talking about aborting black male fetuses. So she's talking about it like murder. So there we go. They can do all this stuff, birth control up the yin yang, and then at the end of the day, talking about he didn't stay. Like what? So throughout all this time, you let all of this happen, and you still don't know who this guy is. You still didn't know that he had another bitch when you were the side chick to begin with. I mean, this is, like, you know what I mean? It's like I have little sympathy for the single mothers of today. Very little sympathy. The only thing I'll probably be sympathetic is like if they were raised by single mammies themselves. And by the way, to the commenter, this got on my nerves. I think this was either a black man or a black woman that was mad because I used the word mammy. This is a very derogatory term towards black women and all this. I was like, bro, so you said nothing when I was calling white bitches Karens. You said nothing when I was calling fat Spanish bitches gorditas and tortas and all this stuff. When I was saying Asian women be poisoning people's food, you said nothing then. I don't talk about black women's hair. I really don't talk about black women in that kind of light on my channel. I really don't. Because I already understand how sensitive, especially when we're talking about black women's hair. I already know how sensitive that subject is. I don't even harp on black women needing to smile more. I don't even do that. Because I understand where that comes from. But the one time I say mammy, right? Because I'm talking about single mammies and what the destruction that they cause, right? Now all of a sudden you need to be more respectful. But you said nothing when I was talking about white women being Karens and how white women age badly. I don't think I've had any complaints from white women, even though I talk about them a lot. And because they are the majority of the population in terms of women in this country. And I go after them a lot. But you mad at me for saying mammy. You can miss me with that stuff. Anyway, let me see. And he said right here, that statement, he said, let alone make you feel honored to get any type of time with your own child. And what people don't understand with this system, this is why Tommy Sotomayor said, if you're not fighting for full custody, you might as well just pay the child support and just leave the child and the woman be. And AJ says the same thing. Shout out to AJ, my guy. This should be the tactic, in my opinion, because what they're doing, they're double dipping and they're trying to use the system, take money from you, but at the same time, I got to ask permission to see my own child. How does that work? But then at the same time, still steal money from me and still want me to do other stuff. And they're still going to ask for rent money on top of the child support. No. We're not going to do that. Since you want this check from me so bad, here, I'll pay you the check. Now leave me the hell alone. That's all you're going to get. You're just going to get this check since that's what you want so bad. You're not going to be doing that. And then on top of that, put cases against me for seeing my own child. No. You got to give these people the options, because women know what they're doing with the system. I've heard women talk. They act like they don't know what they're doing, but they are. They know. The women that are putting their man on child support, they know what they're doing. You got to give them this option. Either you want a check or you want a father. You cannot have both. Bottom line. People know what they're doing out here. You know, the women that are using child support, they're modern day scam artists. They know what they're doing. They've been coached. I've heard women talk about this. They've been coached. They know what to do. They know how to bring up the abuse card. They know how to use certain court tactics. They know what lawyer to go. They know what they're doing. So right here, when you really look at these tweets, he's basically just showing his heart. He's opening up. You know, what they said that they want men to open up. He's showing you. And the stuff that he's saying is not news to us. People that's been in the RP space, people that have listened to Hammerhand, people that have listened to Coach Greg Adams, people that have listened to all these people in the space, right? That have talked about the divorce courts, you know what I mean? Stuff that happens, you know what I mean? In the space. A Better Bachelor, right? Aaron Clare, like these people, we already know what happens in these divorce courts, these family courts, right? We already know the family court system is not a regular court system. So they where it's a shakeup. It's basically an open robbery for the state to have access to your funds, right? So let's look at the comment section. And mostly is people disrespecting Darius Jackson, and his sentiments are not different from the average man. The stuff that the average man goes through when trying to gain access to their kids. Now, I believe this: if both parties are not coming to the table, especially particularly from women, if the woman is not coming to the table, like, look, I don't want the courts involved. Let's do a joint custody agreement together without having the courts involved. You can see your kid whenever you want. I'm not gonna put you on child support. Let's just have an agreement. Just give him this money. I'll put this money in a college fund, or use that money. I'm going to use that money for him and him only when he needs something. Let's agree, because you can make an agreement with your baby mother. You could do that without the courts. And if she's not coming to the table like this, you know what I'm saying? Then I believe there's no point in even negotiating. You know what I mean? Do what if she's not coming to the table like that, just do what you need to finesse the system. Just give him that check and move on. Or if you're gonna not gonna do that, file for full custody. Now, to the people that are already, because this is the new move right here that I'm seeing a lot of men do now, because there's always this. Because right now the new move is basically whenever, because when women are filing for modifications on the child support, Now what men are doing now is, oh, okay, y'all gonna keep doing these modifications on me? All right, I'm filing for full custody. So that's the new move that men are using now, and that's smart. File anytime she's filing for a modification. Oh, I need more. File for full custody, or either file for another motion, file for another hearing, or something like that. But mainly, file for full custody, because clearly you don't have the funds to take care of the kid. And now, since everybody's equal now, right? Everybody can take care of the kid. Everybody has a house now. Everybody can make money now. If you're filing for modifications, clearly you don't have the funds to take care of the kid. Why not have the kid stay with the father? Right? And here's how you know this is working. This is how you know this is working, because now you'll have these bitter baby mothers come on the internet, right? And they'll start complaining. They'll be like, these fathers be filing for full custody so they can avoid paying child support. I'm like, bruh. I'm like, so now you mad that the dude wants to be in the kid's life now. Now, I remember I saw one where they'll be like, he can avoid paying $300 a month. And I'm like, clearly you needed that $300 a month. I saw that from a woman. I was laughing. I'm like, oh, you needed that $300 a month. You needed that automatic car payment right there. You needed that. That don't act like that. First of all, men already know with full custody, we already know we're going to be paying anyways. So instead of men paying, because you got to look at it from the man's perspective. They're paying the child support diligently, like a diligent citizen, but the baby mother is still filing for modifications more. And then on top of that, she's going to ask, well, my kid needs shoes. Why are you not paying for shoes? Okay, then so that you're paying for shoes, you're paying for his clothes, you're doing all this stuff on top of giving the money. And we know that money's not going to the kid because you're still asking for more money for his school, his sports teams. I'm like, so what are you doing with the child support money? They're using it. Let's keep it a buck, ladies. You guys are using it as extra income. Let's keep it a buck, because it's very rare that I hear, look, this dude, I rarely hear a situation where the mom has the dude on child support, and then once he hits 18, okay, the mother put the money in like a trust or an investment where he has enough money to go to whatever college he needs to go to. It's rare. It's always once they hit 18, they still don't have enough money. You're like, what did you do with the child support money? She spent it on herself. Let's keep it a buck, or her expenses. And to the people that talk, and I'll say this too. Here's another thing, because I've already seen what I need to see. Let's talk about child support a little bit more. Let's talk about it a little bit more. Let's talk about it. Let me put it on full screen real quick. Let's talk about this real quick. This is funny. To the ladies that talk about, but they talk about, but I need rent. Rent is part of child support. No. That's what your job is, right? Everybody can get a job. Everybody can get a job now. That's what your job is there for. That's not child support. That's where your job comes in. Okay. Oh, but the car's used for the kid. Yeah, I need the gas money for no, that's where your job comes in. He's not your man no more. He doesn't have responsibility over your payments. Right? It's another way. It's clearly the child support is another way to extract resources from that man without having to serve that man or benefit that man in any way. And then on top of that, you're going to still ask for more money from that dude via child support, via whatever, and ask for men are like, nah, we're not having that no more, dog. This is ridiculous. So you can't even be mad, especially when we were here about, men giving up the fight for their custody. Well, people don't understand the money that is spent to fight for something that should be already rightfully his. So much so that lawyers will literally say, homie, if you're going to fight for this stuff, it's almost pointless because you're going to be paying me like over 10K minimum over 10K. And on top of that, you're most likely still not going to gain any custody rights for the kid. You know what I mean? So this is what usually happens. So basically the only men that can really see their kids is men that already make over six figures. So they actually have the money to fight against the woman wanting primary custody because she's filing for primary custody so she can get more child support. The game is right there. It's pretty obvious. You'll still have women try to argue, but they know what it is. Just to let you guys know, women know what it is. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. They understand how this child support this stuff works. They've been coached by their mom, their single mammies about it. And by the way, single mammy, it's race neutral, but it usually seems to apply to particularly poor black and poor Latinos, and that still applies to white women too, because they be divorce graping their husbands like really bad, so much so that like the like white husbands, they like are not allowed to talk about what happens to them via the court system, because like their ex-wives would put literally will put gag orders on their ex-husbands, so they go through it too. So it is what it is. Single mammy is a bit race neutral. It's a bit race neutral. So let's not be offended over that, and let's just listen to the message. I feel bad for Darius Jackson, and I remember I saw people in the comment section talk about, but he put his hands on her, and I'm like, they put their hands on each other. And by the way, one of the videos when they talk about him putting his hands on her, he was wrestling over her phone. That's what that was, and that happens a lot more than people want to admit, you know. But that's c'est la vie on that end. So we all know the game. We all know the game. We all know Darius Jackson is most likely going to be taken to the cleaners. He shouldn't have to fight to see his own kids. You know what I mean? For him to have to fight for joint custody, you know, and this is why I said I understand why now guys just give up that fight. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot. Most people don't have thousands and millions of dollars to spend just to see their own kid. They don't. You know what I mean? It's, you know, people want to say it's worth a sacrifice, and most of the times custody is granted to the mother anyways. This is why people give up. This is why men will just drop out, you know? And obviously when you looked at the comments, there was zero sympathy for Darius Jackson. And people wonder why the marriage rate is dropping. People wonder why men are traveling overseas. Like they can't, with this, the way that the court system works, they're not trying to deal with that, you know? But that could just be me. I could be wrong. I doubt it.